think it's just putting my life into perspective. I mean, at first I used to think negative things like, why is it so much pressure? If you defend something, that means you won something. If you did it, that means you can do it again. So whether I do it, she went over the clock like 4 times. You gave her time violation once. How is this fair? No, you're calling the score after.
Coco Gauff just dropped a $50 million legal bombshell on Fox Sports, and the network is in full panic mode. What happens when a 20-year-old tennis superstar finally decides she's done being disrespected? She doesn't jump on Twitter. She doesn't post a vague Instagram quote. She doesn't cry in the locker room. No, this time, Coco Gauff lawyers up. She files a massive, earth-shaking $50 million lawsuit that threatens to blow the roof off one of the biggest sports networks in America. Most athletes are taught to ignore the noise. Smile for the cameras. Take the hits while the media tears them apart behind closed doors. But Coco Gauff isn't playing that game anymore. She looked at Fox Sports. She looked at the on-air host who allegedly crossed the line. And she essentially said, "You crossed it. Now you're going to pay." And when we say pay, we're not talking about a forced apology or a quiet retraction. We're talking about $50 million in cold, hard accountability. Welcome back to Champions Tennis, the only place where we serve the truth ace after ace. If you love tennis, and you love seeing athletes stand up for themselves, do me a huge favor right now. White right pointing backhand index, smash that subscribe button. White right pointing backhand index, drop a like on this video. White right pointing backhand index, ring that notification bell, because we're tracking this legal showdown minute by minute, and trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. Also, quick heads up, we've got a brand new sister channel launching soon. The link is in the description, so make sure you're subscribed there too for exclusive behind the scenes content you won't get anywhere else. Now buckle up, because the update we have today is shocking. Fox Sports is scrambling. The host at the center of the controversy has gone completely silent. And Coco Gauff. She's fighting the biggest match of her life, not on the court, but in the courtroom. And this battle could change how athletes are treated by sports media forever. Courtroom. Let's be real for a second. We forget, way too often, that athletes are human beings. We see the Nike commercials. The New Balance billboards. The trophies lifted at the US Open and Roland Garros. We see the superstar. But behind that superstar is a young woman who hears everything. Coco Gauff herself said it best recently. "I think being an athlete, people kind of disregard that side of us, the human side. People say so many things. You're number 3 in the world. You should be better. But at the end of the day, if I stopped and didn't pick up a racket tomorrow, I've already had a career so many people would dream of." And she's absolutely right. By the age of 20, Coco Gauff has already accomplished what many players grind 15 years trying to achieve. But this story isn't about her backhand. It's not about serve percentages. It's not about a bad line call or an umpire dispute. This is about respect. According to reports, this case centers on a specific Fox Sports host who allegedly believed he could go on live television, tear down a young black woman's reputation, and walk away without consequences. He allegedly thought he could say whatever he wanted to chase ratings. He allegedly assumed Coco would do what she's always done, take the high road and stay silent. He was wrong. Dead wrong. Instead of firing back on social media, Coco's team reportedly did something far more dangerous. They stayed quiet. They documented everything. Every clip. Every comment. Every dismissive tone and implication. And they turned it into a legal weapon. Now Fox Sports, according to multiple sources, is scrambling, more than a player trying to chase down a Coco Gauff drop shot. So how did we get here? Why now? And what exactly was said that could justify $50 million in alleged damages? Let's rewind to the moment that reportedly started it all. It was supposed to be a standard segment. Fox Sports was covering the Miami Open, one of the biggest tournaments on the calendar, basically a 5th Grand Slam in the eyes of many players. The panel was set up for routine pre-match analysis. You know the drill. First serve percentages. Movement on hard courts. Matchups and tactics. Actual sports journalism. But according to accounts, one host decided to go off script. He didn't want to talk tennis. He got personal. Instead of critiquing Coco's game, he allegedly questioned her entire legitimacy in the sport. He cast doubt on whether the praise she receives is earned. He labeled her immature. He implied that her Grand Slam success was more hype than substance. The message, according to viewers, was clear: you don't deserve this. You're a fraud. Let that sink in. Coco Gauff burst onto the scene at just 15 years old, defeating Venus Williams on the grass of Wimbledon. She carried the weight of American tennis after Serena stepped away. She won the US Open under blinding pressure. And she followed it up with the 2025 French Open title, proving her grit on clay. This isn't a resume built on hype. This is earned. And that's why this moment matters. Because if the allegations hold, this wasn't criticism. It was something far deeper. And now, instead of ignoring it, Coco Gauff is forcing a conversation the sports world has avoided for decades. And then there it was. A grown man, on national television, sitting comfortably in a studio, telling millions of viewers that Coco Gauff is overrated and doesn't deserve the praise she's earned. It wasn't just what he said. It was how he said it. The arrogance. The dismissive sneer. The tone that said, "I know better than everyone else." It wasn't analysis. It wasn't critique. It felt like a character assassination disguised as sports commentary. And maybe the most uncomfortable part of all? The silence. The other hosts didn't push back. They laughed awkwardly, shifted in their seats, looked everywhere except at the camera. They knew the line had been crossed. But nobody stopped him. Nobody said, "That's disrespectful." Nobody shut it down. The segment aired. It went into millions of homes. And then, unbelievably, it was clipped and posted to social media for engagement. For clicks. For outrage. But the internet. The internet is undefeated. Within minutes, X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it now, was on fire. Fans recorded their TV screens, reposted the clip, and flooded timelines with reactions like, "Did he really just say that? This is beyond out of line. Fire him immediately." And it wasn't just Coco's fans, the Coco Beans, who were angry. It was general sports fans. Tennis journalists. Former players. Even people who don't watch tennis at all. They saw the clip and thought the same thing: this is wrong. Because we all understand the subtext. We know what it looks like when media figures target a young, successful black woman who dares to be great. They don't just critique her game, they try to humble her. To cut her down. To remind her of where they think she belongs. 4 days after, there was nothing. No apology from Fox Sports. No retraction from the host. No statement. And Coco. Silence. People started asking questions. Was she okay? Did this get to her? Was she being pressured to stay quiet? Because we've seen Coco handle pressure before. We've seen her absorb painful losses with grace. We've seen her respond with class when Aryna Sabalenka's comments after the French Open were widely criticized for downplaying Coco's victory. She didn't lash out. She didn't play the victim. She let her tennis speak. So when Coco went quiet this time, it wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Because while the public was arguing online, according to reports, something else was happening behind the scenes. And Fox Sports didn't realize it yet. But the match had already started grace. That's what Coco Gauff has always shown the world. She's used to critics. Used to noise. Used to people trying to dim her light the moment she shines too bright. But this time, the silence wasn't weakness. It was strategy. Because while the public wondered why Coco wasn't responding, she wasn't hurting. She wasn't spiraling. She wasn't firing off emotional statements. Behind the scenes, Coco Gauff was building a war room. And to understand why this lawsuit is so serious, you have to understand one thing first. Coco Gauff isn't just a tennis player. She's a global brand. She's the face of New Balance. She has major partnerships with Bose, Berea, Rolex, and more. She represents excellence, credibility, and future dominance. Her reputation isn't just personal. It's currency. So when a major sports network host goes on air and questions her legitimacy, when he implies she's a fraud, mentally weak, or propped up by hype, this isn't just trash talk. That's an attack on her livelihood. Sponsors don't invest in controversy. They invest in trust. They invest in legitimacy. And if a powerful media voice convinces the public that an athlete is fake or undeserving, that has a real financial impact. Brand value drops. Endorsement leverage weakens. Long-term earning potential takes a hit. That's not opinion. That's business. According to reports, Coco's legal team, some of the most aggressive, high-profile attorneys in sports and entertainment, did the math. They analyzed her current brand value, projected future earnings, endorsement risk, and reputational harm. And the number they landed on. A number that would make any network executive choke on their morning coffee. $50 million. Not symbolic. Not emotional. Calculated. The lawsuit reportedly centers on 3 core allegations, and this is where Fox Sports problems get very real. Because this isn't about hurt feelings. It's about accountability. And once those allegations are laid out in black and white, this stops being sports drama and starts looking like a full-blown corporate nightmare. First, defamation. According to the filing, the host knowingly pushed false narratives that went far beyond tennis analysis. Statements that allegedly damaged Coco Gauff's reputation as a professional athlete and global brand. Second, intentional infliction of emotional distress. This wasn't tough love. This wasn't debate. The lawsuit argues it crossed into public humiliation, delivered on a national platform, with no journalistic necessity and no factual basis. Third, tortious interference. And this is the one that really keeps network executives up at night. By attacking Coco's credibility, the broadcast allegedly put her sponsorships, endorsements, and long-term brand relationships at risk. Legal analysts are already weighing in, and the early consensus is eye-opening. One civil rights attorney put it bluntly, you enter extremely dangerous legal territory when you stop criticizing performance and start attacking character, especially when that character is tied to a billion-dollar brand. In other words, this wasn't commentary. It was exposure. And the moment this lawsuit landed on Fox Sports' legal desk, everything changed. You noticed it too. The clip quietly disappeared from Fox's website. Gone from YouTube. Scrubbed like it never existed. The host, normally loud, opinionated, constantly posting, has gone completely silent. No tweets. No explanations. No doubling down. That's not confidence. That's someone who just sat in a room with lawyers and heard the words, "Stop talking." Immediately. Fox Sports followed up with the most predictable PR move imaginable, a generic, corporate statement praising Coco as an athlete and distancing the network from the host's opinions. Translation. Please don't let this go to trial. But here's the problem. According to sources close to the situation, Coco isn't interested in a quiet apology. She's not looking for a private settlement and a handshake behind closed doors. She wants accountability, publicly. Because this isn't just about her. It's about every young athlete, especially young women, who've been told to just take it when media figures cross the line. And the ripple effect has already started. Support has poured in from across the tennis world. Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, players who are rivals on court but united off it. Because they all understand the same thing, if it can happen to Coco Gauff, it can happen to anyone. This feels like a turning point. For decades, sports media has rewarded shock jock behavior. Say something outrageous. Go viral. Deal with the consequences later, if there are any. Coco Gauff just challenged that entire business model. She didn't rant. She didn't clap back. She didn't spiral. She filed paperwork and went back to practice. That's the part Fox Sports should be most worried about. She's not distracted. She's not unraveling. She's still winning. Meanwhile, reports suggest Fox is eager to settle, knowing a public trial would be a PR disaster. Discovery alone could expose internal emails, production notes, and decision-making processes no network wants examined under oath. And if that sounds familiar, it should. Because it mirrors the same legal playbook that cost Fox hundreds of millions in past defamation cases. Truth matters. So what happens next? If this goes to trial, It could become one of the most significant media lawsuits in modern sports history. Executives could testify. Hosts could be questioned under oath. The curtain could be pulled all the way back. But even if it settles tomorrow, Coco has already won. She reclaimed her power. She set a precedent. She showed young athletes everywhere that disrespect is not part of the job. The host called her overhyped. Now she's one of the most talked about athletes in the world, and he's the one hiding. So let me ask you, is Coco Gauff right to fight back? Or is this just the cost of fame? Did the host cross the line? Or is the media finally being held accountable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you support athletes standing up for themselves. Subscribe to Champions Tennis so you don't miss the next update in this developing story. Because trust me, this one isn't over yet.